an educator, it's my job to give my students the most opportunity with the best resources available. In the past, when I was younger, I had a word processor that I used for school. Today, that device may seem as antiquated as the older model, kind of like this versus this. But the corona enabled me to do my work for class. What disappointed me though was the manual. It seemed thicker than it really was, but I never fully took advantage of my device. Yes, I was able to use it, but more as a fancy typewriter, never to its full potential. But what is a tool? If its possibilities are understood, used wisely, used effectively, it can become so much more. From a numerous amount of jobs and beyond the simple, the familiar, and allow one to achieve great heights, if it is realized, if people are aware of the tool's power. To do a job, you need tools. To do a job well, you need the right tools. Without the right tools, the destination can still be met, but the road to getting there can take longer and much can be lost along the way. As a media teacher, I was not as hip to using Facebook and Twitter, thinking them only sites for people to catch up and or chat about daily routines. But they have become so much more. More as tools used in marketing, promotion, communication, awareness, sharing, and learning. These tools and many more web-based applications have become the mainstream for connecting and growing. With this in mind, I wanted to discover how worthwhile these tools could be to a teacher and decided to do my project on the efficacy of social media in the classroom. Why social media? Because times are changing and so are the students, along with technology. And in order to keep up, education also has to change. If teachers want to reach their students, they need to find the proper tools in order to do this. And those proper tools are social media. Meet the millennials. This next generation, or Gen Y, learns differently. Students are entwined with technology.
Jeremy, can we talk?
Sure.
I need your undivided attention.
Okay. Flip. Flip. Click. Go.
So that's what it feels like?
Make it snappy, the room is starting to spin. Today's generation is growing up with every kind of technology. They are plugged in, tuned in, and connected. Technology is changing very rapidly. An article cited how YouTube had an average of 65,000 uploads and 100 million videos viewed per day. And that was in 2007. Since then, it has grown exponentially. And there are so many users on Facebook, if it were a country, it would be the third most populous nation in the world after China and India. Teachers need to stay current and be aware of modern tools and technology. Educators can get stuck with tools when they're comfortable with them, and sometimes don't explore the other more modern implements and the possibilities they can hold. So what does the literature say? Social media makes an impact with learners. Root and DeValier talk about several key factors about millennials. How they're connected, they're social, they're engagement and experience oriented, they're immediate, and they're visual and kinesthetic learners. Redmond and Trappini remark that learners make the very most and take advantage of technology for their lives. Social media is transforming the classroom. Social media and its tools are changing the traditional ways of teaching and opening up new ways and becoming more innovative. Social media are the tools for teachers. Abe and Jordan talk about how social media provides an opportunity for educators to speak to students in a way they are likely to be reached, engaged, and better connect with the content. The instructional problem. Within my high school, resources can be limited and spread out amongst 3 high schools all within one district, so it is making the most out of what is available. getting through the tangled mess of obstacles which can also hinder the growth of social media use, such as policy use, resources, knowledge, awareness, and let's not forget time. Earlier I mentioned the use of adapting approaches with the times to more efficiently connect content to the learners, adapting one approach with another, traditional ways with newer tactics. So ultimately, in order to reach the students, educators need to be made aware of how social media can be used for lessons and instructions, trying to get through, around, and over problems, as well as making that leap to producing and using these tools to instruct. It can be overwhelming, the number of applications and tools that are used over the internet on both a phone and a computer. What I wanted to do was focus on the tools that have mainly been around for a while, such as Blogger, Edmodo, Facebook, the Flipped Classroom, Google Docs, Instagram, Twitter, websites, YouTube, and UGCs, which are generated content like YouTube videos, Vines, and Instagram videos. My objectives? Since there are so many applications, I wanted to take some of the more popular and familiar sites to work with on projects and to inform the teachers about. I wanted to show the effectiveness of social media by helping to make the teachers more aware of how to use the social media tools, by creating lessons through social media, show how others are currently using these tools, and to have teachers share their experiences on how social media has worked and benefited them in the classroom. The timeline? I had originally started, I intended to conclude by the summer. However, with the end of the school year, it became difficult to create and compile all the content I wanted, so it needed to be extended into September and October. I anticipated issues, shown in yellow. However, I was able to adapt to the issues such as professional demands, scheduling, time constraints, technical glitches as they came up, finishing within the project's estimated time of completion. Surveys were first given to both students and teachers to see how connected they were. Students and teachers had the tools, they just weren't using them for education purposes as much. From that assessment, students wanted to see more use and teachers desired to do more, but certain factors held them back. This led to the creation of the product, and once the product was completed, a post-survey was given, an interview was conducted, and a focus group was gathered. When it comes to the product, it first started out as a series of smaller videos, UGCs, lessons, websites, channels, and more. Then they were all put together to create a website. All of those products, along with testimonials collected, were brought together into one website in order to instruct and show teachers about what tools are out there, how they can be applied to lessons, and their effectiveness towards those lessons. A contact page to talk more about these sites and share ideas, as well as establishing a Facebook group for greater collaboration of experiences. And the results? After teachers explored the site, they took a survey to see what they thought.
Survey said!
The survey said for those who took it that many of the teachers had not used the sites in class. 87% were made more aware, 84% were more likely to seek help or information about bringing social media into their lessons, and 77% were inclined to create a social media lesson for their class. For those who had used these apps before, 94% were willing to share their knowledge with others, and the majority would use the website 41% or a workshop 31% to share what they know. And from the website and its testimonials, teachers found the secondary social media sites mentioned briefly somewhat effective, but the main social media sites, of which there was more focus and emphasis, they found to be very effective. So overall, it was effective. Results of the interview conducted shed light about policy at another school and how well it works for them, and compared it to my school. The differences between some factors show what could be done to allow the increase of use for social media at my school. The focus group mainly agreed with each other, emphasizing a bit about resources and policy. They said that there is a demand for social media use. They want the Wi-Fi open for all to use, that it would be beneficial since it is familiar and popular with the students, and that the only way to be truly effective is to allow for an increased use in the classroom. The findings: while a great deal of individual video content was not created for a large number of teachers, many of the teachers, both those who use and didn't use social media, were affected by the website. There is a large number of teachers who are willing and want to learn how to bring social media into their classrooms. There are still deterrents when using social media, but with a number willing to learn, that may change. While the immediacy of all teachers having social media filtering into their classrooms will not be an instantaneous event, however, now with a greater awareness, there is momentum. The challenges, there were mainly two: time constraints. Whether it was my own or with others, and trying to stay on course was difficult. The second was resources, both with people and devices. Having more available and reliable on both counts would make the process go more smoothly. But people are very busy and short on time, as well as all technology, which would be nice if it operated like clockwork. For the future, I see a lot happening with social media. Already I received this email which asks all teachers what sites they want open for the educator and their students. On top of that, I will be part of the interactive technology meeting and conducting a workshop on UGC's Video to Go, talking about YouTube channels, iMovie, Vines, and other video sharing. I would also like to help the website grow and try to establish something after school for teachers. Final thoughts. In the beginning, I mentioned my own reluctance to social media. Along the way, through this process, I've become my own best research subject in transforming my own thinking and intentions to bring the tools of social media into my classroom, to keep my students current and innovative, and my methods on the cutting edge.